Welcome to the Story Learning Podcast, regular doses of language learning tips and motivation to help you become fluent in any language. With me, Olly Richards. For language programs, books, free resources, and much more, visit StoryLearning.com.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the I Will Teach You a Language podcast. Thank you for joining me. If you're learning a foreign language, you're in the right place. Congratulations for finding this podcast. Twice a week, I give you short episodes with ideas, thoughts, and some provocative opinions on language learning with the aim of making you a better language learner so that you can learn by yourself, which is the ultimate aim. I've been doing a lot of writing recently. I've mentioned before that I'm working on a new book about French, and it is for complete beginners, and it's the first book in a new series, actually, which are aimed at complete beginners to a language, because I'm a big fan of quantity over quality at the beginning. The idea being that the most effective way to start learning a new topic is to get as much information as you can about that topic, prime your brain, understand the kind of landscape that you're looking at, and then after that you start studying in more depth, but you're not coming at things new for the first time. You're not following the kind of evening school approach of kind of waiting for a year and a half until the teacher decides to introduce the subjunctive to you. You know, you kind of already have an inkling of what that is, because it's much easier to understand new linguistic concepts when you can relate them to other things. Whereas if you're just trying to build one block on top of the next, you know, you're kind of fumbling around in the dark without knowing the other things that are out there. So I think that applies to everything except pronunciation, where with pronunciation it's important to get it perfect from the start. And so this new book series is basically all about giving you a complete overview of the basics of the language that you can read in a week or two, very quickly, which gives you the kind of shortcut through the beginner stages. And anyway, French is the first book in the series. I've been working hard at writing over the last few weeks, which has been really fun, actually, because I've not been doing a great deal of writing recently, and to kind of wake up every morning and put my thoughts down on paper and articulate it in the kind of best way I know how has been very, very satisfying. So I look forward to releasing the book. It's almost ready, but just putting some final touches to it. You will be the first to know when it does come out. Now, today's a solo episode, and I want to talk about a conversation that I've been having with a friend of mine, Jeremy, who's learning Spanish. And we were chatting the other day, and he was explaining his situation, where he's at with his Spanish and what he wants to achieve. And I was giving him some ideas and some advice. And as we were talking about this, I thought that it would be very interesting to make this into a podcast episode, because I think there are it's sometimes it's interesting just to look at different perspectives, and sometimes a different perspective can, whether or not it's relevant to you immediately, can be quite educational, I think, in terms of your own thought process, the way that you think about your own language study. So Jeremy's situation is that he lives in Mexico. He's married to a Mexican lady who also who speaks English very well. Jeremy's Spanish is great. I mean, we've met before. He speaks really good Spanish, but he's got himself into a little bit of a rut, in the sense that, you know, he's been doing the same thing for quite some time, and he is ambitious. He's a very smart guy. He wants to improve his Spanish. He wants to take it up to the next level. And so he was asking, well, you know, what do you think? What are your thoughts on how I do this? So I asked him, you know, what he tends to do with his Spanish, and he told me that, well, he said, well, I work with Spanish speakers. I mean, my work itself is in English, but I work with Spanish speakers, so I'll often kind of grab a quick conversation with in Spanish with the people that I work with, and so I'll chat a little bit of Spanish, and then, you know, sometimes I will kind of listen to a podcast or something, maybe read a blog article about nutrition, which is the thing that he's most interested in, and that's what he does. Now, he also said that, like, you know, my Spanish is stagnating; it hasn't been improving so much. What can I do to really take it up to the next level? We've all found ourselves in this situation, right? We've kind of got into a habit of studying in a particular way, and before we know it, you know, 6 months or a year has gone by, we're still kind of doing the same old things, and surprise, surprise, we're not seeing much results. And so the challenge I gave to Jeremy, what I said to him was, look, you are good at Spanish. learning is not your problem. You're a smart guy. You're perfectly capable of improving your Spanish given the right situation. You just need to put yourself in that situation. And so I challenged him to do something completely different from what he's normally doing. And this is the conversation that ensued was good, because it kind of not only, I think, raised his awareness of the fact that he had been doing the same old things day after day, week after week, but it also got him excited about trying something different. And so after he explained to me what he'd been doing, the way that he's been speaking Spanish, which was essentially as and when, is how I can best describe that. It's as and when he has the opportunity, 5 minutes here and there, snatching a bit of practice whenever the opportunity arises. That's pretty much how he was doing things. So I said, right, let's change things up completely. What I want you to do now is not rely on your environment to give you bits of practice here and there, but start to control your environment and organize your environment so you can get the learning you need. I said, rather than kind of snatching little bits of speaking practice here and there, quick conversations in the office, instead what I want you to do is actually devote proper time to speaking. So it's not 5 minutes where you can kind of muddle through and then it's over. Instead, to have a dedicated hour to speaking with somebody who will not speak to you in English, and then you have to push yourself and stretch yourself in that hour to get to talk about what you want to talk about, to express yourself, to get tired and have to push through it nevertheless. There's a world of difference, I think, between a quick 5-minute conversation with somebody and then having to sit down for an hour and have an intelligent discussion. It's so different, because when you're having that intelligent discussion, even if it's not intelligent, whatever kind of discussion, when you're having that conversation, you inevitably run into brick walls. You find ways that you can't quite express yourself properly, or you get tired and you just start to forget things. That's precisely the point at which you have to keep going, because that's how you get out of your comfort zone and increase your competence and your strength in the language. So what I asked Jeremy to do was to arrange for at least 2 or 3 sessions a week of 1 hour, where he would, and I said, just get one of those people that you normally chat to in the office and buy them a coffee or buy them dinner after work, and instead sit down and say, right, we're going to speak Spanish for an hour. And it's quite a simple change to make, but it makes all the difference in terms of language, because now you're not just getting through that quick conversation, but you're actually having to really confront your weaknesses. And Jeremy takes action. He's an action taker. And so after we had that conversation, that same afternoon, he sent me a picture of him sitting in a cafe with a Spanish-speaking colleague, and he said, right after we talked, Ollie, I went and I had that conversation for an hour, and he said, I can feel the challenge. I can feel I can feel myself pushing my level and expanding my what I'm comfortable doing. And so he started doing that straight away, and he's now going to aim for 2 or 3 of those sessions a week. And I know for a fact that very quickly he's going to start to see some big results, because he's just doing something that he hasn't been doing something totally different. And when you do something that's hard, that's when sometimes you find that's often when you get the results, right? When you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. The other thing I said to him was that, okay, you are at a decent intermediate level, and you do read stuff in Spanish, which is great, but really, just like what we spoke about in the previous episode when I was talking to William about how to take his French from the kind of 60-70% level up to the 90-100% level, you need to surround yourself with good quality language. And so my advice to Jeremy was that, okay, you've got lots of, you have time, you have dead time during your day when you've got breaks. And normally Jeremy was taking those breaks and using those breaks to get 5 minutes of Spanish speaking practice. But what I said to him was, okay, well, instead of doing that, why not see all of these 5-10 minute breaks throughout the day as a complete hour over the course of the day, and plug that time instead with reading. get a book in Spanish that's on something that you enjoy. I think I suggested getting something on nutrition or something, but actually he went out and bought my book of Spanish short stories for intermediate learners, which is available on Amazon. And I think he got that on his Kindle straight away, and he started reading it. So obviously I was happy with that. I thought that was a great idea. And so I said, right now, your only aim, apart from your 3 speaking sessions a week, your only aim now is to read a book over the course of a week. So when you've got 5 minutes free, open the book, keep reading. If you've got half an hour free, read. Keep it really simple. But by doing all of that reading, you're getting quality input, which you're not really getting from like those quick conversations and the occasional ad hoc podcast or something. When you read a book over time and you keep it up, you're just getting quality language. You're learning useful vocabulary. You're exposing yourself to well-written, articulate sentences. And so that, combined with the speaking, I suggested to him was the way to really push himself up to the next level, because it's everything that he's not doing at the moment. It's taking these kind of ad hoc conversations and reading, and then making it structured and disciplined so that it pushes him beyond what he normally does. So it's early days. We only talked about this a couple of days ago. So what I might do is ask Jeremy to come on the podcast a couple of months from now to see where that actually took him. But hopefully what I've described here will get you to reflect a bit on your own learning and look back on what you've been doing for the last month, 3 months, 6 months, or longer, and perhaps identify areas where you haven't been working to your full potential. Areas where you could push yourself more. I don't know, get yourself into trouble. You know what I mean? Like if you only have short conversations, have long, in-depth conversations where you're forced to make it through that hour. If you struggle to read stuff in depth, then dive in and do it every day. Looking for these opportunities and looking for ways to get out of our comfort zone and our routines and our habits is extremely powerful. So I hope that was a useful diatribe for you. Hopefully that's given you a bit of inspiration, or at least caused you to reflect on your learning. If we've done that, then I feel like I've done my job. So there you go. If you'd like to ask me a question, you can go to iwillteachyoualanguage.com/ask to leave a message there. Also, if you've been enjoying the podcast, why not leave a rating and review? I can think of lots of reasons why not. It takes a bit of time. It's a hassle. But if you've got a few minutes free, I'd really appreciate it, because it helps other people find the podcast as well. So you can get out your iPhone or open up iTunes on your computer, type in I Will Teach You a Language to the search bar, click on it, click on leave a rating and review, and whatever. If it's a 1-star, Ollie rambles too much and it's a waste of time, that's fine. Leave the review. If it's a 3-star, sometimes occasionally useful when he's concentrating type review, that's fine too. Or if it's a 5-star, I love it and I come back every week, that would be obviously great as well. I would really appreciate a review very much. Your challenge right now is to go to the show notes and tell me what today's episode has provoked in your mind. Tell me what opportunities or thoughts you've had about your learning that you think could be improved. Hopefully there's something. Hopefully you can identify one potential side of your learning that you've been neglecting. Please go to iwillteachyoualanguage.com/episode 218 and let me know what that is in the comments. Once again, that's iwillteachyoualanguage.com /episode 218. Go down to the comments section, leave me a note with the aspect of your language learning that you think you've maybe been a little bit lazy about. I'm going to look at all the comments. I reply to all the comments on the blog. So I'm looking forward to receiving yours. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. And here at Story Learning, everything that I do is powered by stories, whether that's writing books, teaching lessons, crafting courses. My mission is to help everyone succeed at learning a new language through the power of story. And we now have comprehensive language courses in over 15 languages, from Spanish to French, Korean to Japanese, and across all levels from beginner to mastery. And you can take a 7-day free trial of any of these programs by visiting storylearning.com/courses. I've poured my heart and soul into creating these courses over the last 10 or so years, and we've helped tens of thousands of new students achieve their dreams of learning a new language, all through the power of story. So go ahead and take a free trial. There's no commitment. You can try out our method for free. See if this can also be the breakthrough for you that it's been for so many other people. storylearning.com/courses.